Welcome to day 4 of the Delaware Economic Summit and our panel on social media. It's great to have you all here. We have a great panel. We know a lot more than I do, so I'll let them do the talking so you don't have to listen to this first. My name is Matt Sullivan. I'm a marketing communications guy, and I'll introduce them in a second. But we just kind of want to get a feel for the room first. So let me ask these questions. How many people here are on Facebook? Okay. Twitter? All right. Instagram? LinkedIn? Pinterest? How many are admins on a Facebook page? All right. So we got a room of professionals. The three folks sitting next to sitting on my right, I will introduce them only by what it says on their Twitter profile. Meredith is UDEL's Digital Communications Director, Social Media Strategist, that's his hashtag, Interior Design and DIY Enthusiast, Shopaholic and Shoe Lover. Thoughts here are my own. Stefanie Roselle, works at Social Butterfly, owner of Social Butterfly, event planner and social media coordinator for Dawn Career Institute. Wife, mommy, former 76ers dancer, and Eagles cheerleader. And Ken Grant, cryptically, trying to promote the use of social media in the first state. That is what he said on his Twitter feed, folks. They're going to speak a little bit, and we'll mostly be taking questions. First, we have a quick video to show, and about the evolution of social media, which John is about to hit the point. So we'll watch the video and then we'll talk about it.
I play Jeopardy theme, but I don't have it.
We need to get on.
This is immediately relevant. The cover story on Wired this month is about the trust economy and how more and more businesses are using the social interactions people have to create businesses like Airbnb, where you can stay at someone's home, restaurants in people's homes, where people stay out and feed you, you can stay at house and eat, and it's all this kind of stuff that couldn't have happened before social media. So, good folks in the panel. Let me go with you guys first. If you guys could all spend a couple minutes talking about what you do in social media and what your day-to-day, where you fit into the role. And do you guys want the mic, or is it just for me?
Can you guys hear us if we talk like this?
Yes.
Okay, first, all right. So my role is at the University of Delaware, and I kind of have twofold. So one, being the director of digital communication, what I'm focused on day to day is how do we get content, whether it's stories about students, things about how we can do recruitment, bring in donations, and how do we package that so that it fits within the digital landscape. And the largest growing area that we focus on in that is social media. So the university social media platform includes everything from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Vine, Tumblr, YouTube, even Chinese social media platforms that we have, Renren, Weibo. And the reason being is that we have to think about all of these because we have a unique audience for each of them. So my job is really to work with my team of how do we take the different strategies to be able to employ those on the right platform. Because I know my audience on Facebook is not necessarily going to be the same audience that I have on Twitter. So how do I take a story that I think could work across multiple audiences, and how do I find the right platform to meet up with that? My other hat that I wear is I teach a social media strategy program. Know some of these wonderful people from that. And the highlight of that is really that I get to stay on top of kind of what are those cutting edge pieces that are going on with social media, getting to work with business owners, people such as yourselves who are trying to figure out how do I leverage social media for me. Because it'll be different strategies for everybody depending on what it is. And Stefanie has become quite the expert in that with a lot of her clients that she has. So that's kind of my day-to-day social media, and then if you pepper my personal into that, I'm always on Twitter, Instagram every now and then, Facebook, and again, it depends on what I'm trying to share, what platform I'm going to be on.
My name is Stefanie Roselle, and I own Social Butterfly, which is a social media management company for small businesses. I've been in the advertising and social industry for about 15 years, working for a career training school called Dawn Career Institute in Wilmington. And I love what I do. I took Meredith's class, who was in the first social media class at the University of Delaware in the fall, and Social Butterfly is thriving because there are so many businesses that want to be social but don't really know how to do it or which platform to be on, and that's where I come in. So I manage companies' Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever they should be is where I put them. And I've had a lot of fun. My 1-year anniversary for Social Butterfly is next Thursday. So I have 12 clients right now. I have everything from insurance companies to I manage the Delaware Mud Run event page to the Mrs. Delaware America pageant page. So I have I don't have a niche per se, but anyone that wants to be social, and that's what I love about it, I can help them. So that's what I do.
Hi, I'm Ken Grant. My official title here is Designated Pot Store with Epic Marketing. I think Rodney and I kind of fell into this thing back in 2009, and we're like, wow, there's just a lot that can be done with these tools. This is amazing. So whether it's community building, whether it's helping businesses get the word out, whether it's helping a nonprofit engage the audience a little more. And for those of you who don't know, Rodney is the one who invented the NetDE hashtag, so he's the one to thank for and other than that, I'm these days I'm just cranky. They're going to be good cop. We'll get into that a little later on.
All right. Having been up late at night with Ken on Facebook debating the rights of different groups to not allow you to videotape debates, I can tell you that he is a cranky man. Let's talk about obstacles that you guys have faced in your social media jobs. I'm gonna start down with Ken on the cranky side and come back to Meredith, because I'm gonna throw a curveball at Meredith, because the social media at universities is an interesting double-edged sword sometimes.
All right, all right, so for this, you know what? Stephanie's gonna help me on this. So the other day, this is just an example, I got this message on Facebook from someone, and I'm gonna have her read that message, and then I'll read the response.
Hi Ken, we have not personally met, but we are mutual followers on social media, and I know and respect your expertise in this area. I work for unsaid company. We are trying to encourage our staff to become more involved in social media and better understand the power behind it, especially Twitter. Do you have, or could you point me to any Delaware Twitter statistics? I'm looking for numbers that will dazzle our folks. X number of agencies, X number of NGOs, any type of social media impact for Delaware. I know these things are fluid and ever-changing. Extension outreach has always been personal, often one-on-one. These traditions are venerated, so I am looking for some convincing facts to share with those who are skeptical. Why is this important for Delaware? Any ideas? Hashtag cranky.
There's a bunch of us who are really wondering what's wrong with people. I mean, do these people need someone to show them the value of a telephone? These are communication tools that work when you use them. I've been through this stuff so many times with so many groups. You can give them charts, graphs, statistics, stories, show videos, etc. But if they don't want to use the tools, they don't want to use the tools. Then they'll come running back to you when they have something that needs to be made public in a day. Hey, can you use that social media thing to tell the whole world about my event, my paper, my date news, blah, blah, blah. Every major elected official, reporter, editor, and talk show host in Delaware is active in social media. If these people you're working with have no interest in engaging with that audience, as well as community activists, environmentalists, and educators, then they can have a nice life, and I'll keep an eye out for any faxes or telegrams they'd like to send. Please feel free to put this in nice language for everyone else. Sorry for being so cranky. But seriously, it's 2014, people. I mean, we're used to having these conversations back in 2009 and 2010. What's the ROI of social media? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my good Lord. Is there anybody here who's going to start a business that doesn't realize they need a website? I mean, that conversation was had in the 90s. Remember that? Gee, should we have a website, shouldn't we? Yes, you need a website. If I'm standing in your store and I can't find you in Google, I doubt you exist, all right? That's how important this stuff is. If you want to communicate, and this is my real frustration. What the heck do you people want? Because people say all the time, I want to reach a wider audience. I want to let people know, okay, great, here are the tools, use them. And it's like, no, that's what you don't want then. Or if you did, you'd do it, I mean, I'm sitting here, and I'll tell you what, I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. All right? Right? Actions, words, they don't match. I'm getting the same crap from everybody, from nonprofits, from businesses, from everybody. We want to do this. No, you don't. I'll sit there, I'll craft like the whole thing, lay out the plan. Here you go, push send, and they won't do it. So, and I think we're seeing in society this unbelievable gap that is expanding. And we've always seen it in society. Those people who get it, who make things happen, who do things, and those people who sit around and go, gee, I don't know. Okay, let me ask, at this point, is there anybody here who would be shocked, I mean, just shocked, if they found out, you know, that in 2016, Hillary Clinton is running for president? All right, if you're sitting, you know, if that announcement comes down, I'm not saying she is, I'm just saying, you know, if that announcement comes down and somebody goes, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. Okay, you know what? I'm not turning to you for political advice ever. You know, you've basically self-identified as someone who doesn't keep up with things. If you're sitting here now and you know you don't see the pattern that is happening on a global scale, you know, look at what's happening in Asia, Middle East, everywhere. Africa is about to leapfrog in technology and make some things happen that's going to blow everybody's mind. And if you don't see that coming, then you're not engaged enough to understand how the world is working. We're living in a fresh round of chaos that we haven't seen since the advent of the printing press 500 years ago. And we need to adjust to that. If we're still sitting here going, well, this isn't what I grew up with, yeah, it's not. And 10 years from now, your mind is going to be absolutely blown when we're not even going to have these devices anymore. We're going to have the implants and be able to do stuff. I mean, we are cyborgs already. It's just a matter of degree.
Is it time for good cop now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be good cop
Can I
now.
ask you a quick answer? Why, once people have all the information they provide, why don't they pull the trigger on social media?
That, oh my gosh, if I could answer that question, I'd be rich right now. I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. It's the Wizard of Oz. I was thinking about this the other day, all right? It's, people are coming going, oh, we need the tools, we need the tools. No, you don't. You need courage, and you need a brain, and you need a heart. Okay, that's what you need, and you're only going to find that in yourself. If they're turning to the social media tools as the thing that's going to save them, and they don't have the smarts to be able to use it properly, or the heart to be a human being, or the courage to just hit send, then, you know, social media isn't, technology can't fix stupid. All right?
So this is what I think. I think people are scared because it's new. And when you're scared, you need to learn, which is why I took the class at University of Delaware, because I wanted to learn. And if someone doesn't know how to do something, they can always hire a consultant. Because let's face it, social media takes time. It takes time. And there are tools on, for instance, on Facebook. Who uses the Facebook auto scheduler? You guys, there's some admins of Facebook pages out there, right? Well, guess what? If you don't know, there's an auto scheduler. I have 12 clients that posts are happening right now. I'm sitting here because I did it last weekend. I schedule all my posts for a week or 2 weeks in advance. So then all I have to do is sit back and monitor what's happening and stay engaged with those audiences, because that's another big pet peeve of mine is people want to be social, but then they post something and they leave it alone. I am on my phone, ask my kids, ask my husband, all the time. I'm constantly checking, which sometimes we should unplug, but I'm constantly checking my pages all the time because I want to make sure I have this 30-minute rule. I might have learned it in your class. 30 minutes or less is the response time. So if someone has a question for one of my clients, even if I don't know the answer, I'm going to respond. I'm going to respond personally. I'm going to use their first name because you can tag them in a post once they write on your wall. I'm going to, hey, thanks for reaching out. Let me find out before you get back to you. Then that person goes, oh, okay, good. They heard me. And that's a big thing with social media is it's not just let's schedule 15 posts this week about what we're doing. No, let's balance it out. Let's create a content calendar. Let's have industry articles and let's educate our audience. Let's talk about what we're doing, but not all the time every day. Sale, sale, sale. Nobody wants to see that. And then let's engage. Let's talk to our fans. Let's hear what they need, what they want. Let's ask them to leave reviews. I mean, to me, social media, Facebook in particularly, is a walking website. You know, we talked about you have to have a website to have a business. Well, now if you don't have a Facebook page in your business, you're losing credibility. You just have to be there.
Okay, but how many times, I mean, I tell people this all the time, I can look at a Twitter page in 2 seconds, tell whether or not that person's, you know, that business is actually engaged.
Sure.
If all I'm seeing is buy our stuff, here's our special, you're dead to me.
And that's the thing that, you know, I think that Stefanie was talking about, the balance of social media. A lot of people see it as it's broadcast. Just send it out there, push it out there. That's what you have to do. it's a conversation. It's called social media for a reason. So if you're not willing to enter a two-way dialogue, the good and the bad, if you're not willing to do that, you're not ready for social media. It's pretty plain and simple. You have to leap. It's that leap of faith, courage that really ties everything back together. And you need somebody, whether it's a consultant, an employee, dedicated to make sure that you are cultivating that relationship online.
You have thousands of students at the University of Delaware
We do.
who use social media quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
That gets press sometimes. How you probably the University of Delaware probably has more experience than most in town with dealing with social media that's gone off the rails, where they're not really customers and stuff like that. So how do you deal when something has gone out like that, that is about you, that doesn't paint you in the light you want to paint it? How do you respond?
Well, and so that's reality. There's sometimes where things are just not so good. And one of the things that I think we've done really well at the university that businesses should embrace is how you can use social media as a crisis management tool. It's really critical with that because sometimes, for example, I used to do public relations. Someone sends out a press release and mentions the university. I might not have seen the press release, and the next thing I know, that's in the news journal. Okay, well, I didn't have time to react to that. They went and ran the story. I never had a chance to say anything. The great thing about social media is somebody says something, as Stefanie was saying, I can react. I can instantly have a stake in the conversation. I can change the tone of that conversation if I have a powerful enough share of voice. So one of the things that we've done at UD, because if we have students, and students don't always want to hear from the University of Delaware. They would rather hear from their peers. Different, sometimes businesses want to hear from other businesses or from their customers. They don't care what the 17-year-old who can drive now that's not one of their customers is saying. One of the things that we really worked hard on is for about 3.5 years now, we've had what we call our social media ambassador program. 50 students who volunteer their time. We give them these cute little Twitter accounts at Bluehead Meredith, at Bluehead Stefanie, and they get to share their story of what it means to be a University of Delaware student. The good, the bad, what it's like to cook for the first time and burn your food in your apartment, how difficult it can be walking to class when there's rain, nobody does that, and just going through this. But one of the things that we've tied into it is when a crisis happens, when we need to get a message out, I have 50 ambassadors that are going to share this message, peer to peer. So we had a horrible PR nightmare that we started our academic year with, a flash mob. I won't even credit the organization who did this overnight, but it happened via social media. And we had 1,000 students that were inappropriately behaving. We had to go through the crisis management portion of that, get a message out to the students. So we put that message on Facebook, we put it on Twitter. We ended up reaching probably about 10 to 15,000 people that way. However, I send this out to these 50 students and say, hey, if you would, please just share this. Just tell your friends that, this is really not the way UD students behave. They made that a personal message. Probably about 30-something of them ended up sending this out. We reached more than 43,000 people that way. Because it was student to student. So it was customer to customer in that way, with the brand saying, here's what we'd like for the message today. If I didn't have those students, it would have been, more poking fun at the University of Delaware. They're coming down on us again, this isn't how we do it. But because we set it up over the last 3.5 years, we can use social media as a crisis management tool to change the tone of that conversation.
And that is the most important thing people need to realize, is it is a matter of building your network now, so that when that happens, when the opportunity or the crisis happens, you're ready to strike. And again, this is my frustration when people come to me after I've been through it with them time and time and time again. And then they come running to me and say, we have an event coming up, can you help? It's like, okay, when's the event? Saturday! No! Get your act together, build that network, and people at Wawa had this experience where somebody went on social media and said something about, Wawa doesn't have any healthy food. And Wawa didn't have to say a word. It was all Wawa's fan base, which has a rabid fan base. And they're like, what do you mean nothing healthy? It's like, no, here's, fruits and vegetables and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you build that network and the network takes care of you.
All right, real quickly before we go to questions. Best social media usage in Delaware?
Wow. Are you talking about
A user.
a user? I mean, on the government side, I think, you know, the governor embraced this early and has really done well. I think Senator Finn's office does well. Business side, you know, yeah, Wawa does a really good job. I mean, it's not just Delaware, but regional food bank of Delaware does a great job of engaging. I mean, there's a lot, and you know, broadening and discovering my Delaware. Yeah, there's and of course, you know, any of Stefanie's clients and the University of Delaware does an awesome. No, really, I mean, these are the ones. And it's about being top of mind. So, you know, I go to my Twitter stream and I check out the NetDE hashtag, and these are the the names that keep popping up. It's like, okay, that's it, you know. And that's the other thing. People jump on, and it's like after a day, the magic doesn't happen. So they're like, well, I tried it. Yeah. Give me a break. You know, I mean, really, you've got to really engage, build that audience.
Yeah, I would agree. I search the NetDE hashtag often to see who's using it, because those are usually the ones that are part of the conversation. And I agree. You know, Markel, Kelly Bachman, his social media representative, we talked to her in a Google Hangout in our class, and we learned so much from her. And one of my clients, Sir Speedy, had an event 2 weeks ago. They just opened a new company called PopDot, and it's to help the kids from Weston Neighborhood House who age out of foster care into career training. Huge event. Markel was there, Carney was there, everyone was there, and there's Kelly. There's Markel's social media rep right there, taking pictures, tweeting, posting, and she basically, I chatted with her candidly, she's like, I just basically follow him around and share with what he's doing, you know, hashtagging everything she can. So those are the people that I tend to follow.
If you ever get a chance to hear Kelly Bachman tell a story about Hurricane Sandy.
That's what I was going to talk about. So I think that we can all agree, Governor Markell was probably the earliest adopter of, you know, when we talk about elected officials, businesses, someone who understands that it's a two-way street for that relationship. And we're not talking about just his office. He himself, you know, sent out his first tweet. He still does some tweeting. But the woman behind a lot of it, Kelly Bachman, she is a rock star because she understands what that relationship means. So during everything from Superstorm Sandy to even as recently as all the snow this year, because, you know, she'll be online, she'll see that there's a post of, here's, you know, what's going to happen today, the roads are closed. And she takes that Facebook post of putting information, and people have questions all of a sudden. How do I do this? What am I supposed to do? Because that's where people go. They get on Facebook to get information. We saw it in that video. Information is going to find you. You don't have to seek it. She uses that as a great customer relationship management tool to, as Stefanie was saying, tag the person, say, here's what we can do. This is how it works. And it's really, I think that's the piece with social media. It's about transparency. Those who are doing it best are willing to take the good and the bad and share kind of everything in between. You know, we all mess up at some point, send a tweet, and it wasn't the best thing I ever did. But being able to admit that to your following of thousands, that's what makes a really strong social media account, in my opinion.
And I think we're seeing a change in society because of that. You know, it's gone from this thing, you have to keep that facade always up. The people are responding to, you know what, yeah, wasn't the best decision. Dogfish in it. How many were here yesterday for Sam and everything? Okay, Sam's great, Sam's brilliant, but the most brilliant thing he did was marry the right woman who manages all the social media. And if you ever get a chance to hear her speak as well, oh my gosh, she, you know, her introduction to social media was a fan called up and said, I created a Facebook page for you, here's the stuff. You know, she's like, all right, whatever, you know, I created a Twitter account, here you go. But she has just taken it and run with it. And again, this is where it's like she has the brains, the heart, and the courage, you know, to go out there and do stuff. And they've helped, who was it, the Red Cross? Or the major organization that, you know, accidentally sent out the wrong tweet from the wrong thing about having a six-pack of Dogfish Head and getting chiseled or something like that. Did you guys hear about this? So Mariah wakes up one morning and there's this tweet, and it's from, I want to say Red Cross, I could be wrong, it could be, you know, some other organization, but, you know, where the person clearly tweeted from the wrong account. They were, yeah, it should have been a personal thing, and it went out on the, and you know, the organization was like, you know, we're taking the keys away from that individual and, you know, whatever. But Mariah turned that thing completely around within minutes, you know, put out something like, hey, you know, we appreciate the love and you know, we encourage everybody to now go and donate to and, you know, give blood or do whatever. So, you know, nothing is as much of a disaster as it used to be. Like you said, it used to be that article would show up in the paper and your response would have to come 24 hours later in the next day's paper.
Hoping that they'd even run it. Us.
Right, and now it's like, so the paper's out, you know, 5 in the morning and you've got a response by 6 in the morning to change the conversation.
All right, we're gonna stop broadcasting and start interacting.
Yeah.
Questions in the crowd?
Well, it's still fresh with the Red Cross there, and you may or may not know this, but I just want to point to it because if you're new to this, that might scare the Jesus out of you, and it shouldn't, but for the right reason. Was that person actually qualified to handle an account like that? Were there protocols, which if you want to hear about protocols, sit down with Meredith. When she joined, was it 5, 6 years or so, when you went to the Wild West of UD social media, where anytime Dick and Harry had a Twitter or an account that said UD and UDEL and all kinds of different spellings. But she established protocols for thousands, tens of thousands of people, and an organization on top of that. Now, I wonder if the Red Cross had ever sat that person down and said, you will not have your 2 accounts on the same dashboard or something like that. There are ways to protect as a business owner. A, hire the right person, but B, make sure you support them in the protocols.
Can you share some of those with us?
Oh, goodness. If you guys want any resources, you can go to the university's website, udel.edu/social media. Tons of information there. We've done a lot of the hard work for you. Because we're an institution of higher education, feel free to steal our stuff. But I mean, with some of those pieces that really matter are the, you know, I could go through the best practices of when you're posting, but from a protocol standpoint, we have everything of branding. How should you look visually? If you follow any University of Delaware accounts, you're going to see on the avatar, so the picture of it, you're going to see this little circle UD that's blue in the corner of it. That's how you know it's an official account. For our students who have theirs, you're going to see us strutting UD. Again, to give it a different brand, to know this is more fun as opposed to official. We have naming nomenclatures of it should have UD, Blue Hens. We figured out the hashtag. When I started there, we had everything of, you name it, hashtag UD, hashtag UDEL, hashtag UNIBDEL, all over the place. So we did a lot of listening, monitoring, see who else was using that hashtag, and so we came up with hashtag UDEL as what we would claim. So those are kind of some of the foundational pieces, but then we have things of, you know, a crisis happens. What do? We have instructions of what should you do. You contact, you know, me or my team, and we're going to work through this with you, how it goes one by one. Best practices for customer service, what Stefanie was saying, how quickly should I respond? If somebody posts something bad, should I delete it? No, do not delete it. No. First Amendment, freedom of speech, you cannot take that away from somebody. Don't ever do that. But there's things you should do, having a policy of, you know, kind of, you know, Ken was pointing out of, you want the community to moderate itself for the good and the bad. If you have a social media users policy that says, hey, this is kind of the rules of the road for how we like to operate our business. You know, keep things, you know, nice. No political banter, no name calling, no advertising. You can list a few of those things. Put it on right on your Facebook page in the about section. You know, after you talk about your company, put it there. Or put it on your website and put a link to it. And then if something does come up, you have a protocol and process in place that you can, you know, if you comment, you message that person and say, hey, here's, you know, why we had to remove this. It actually violated a policy. So please take a look at that. You know, we have a lot of a great blog that you can link to off of there that gives a lot of tips and tricks behind the scenes.
What's that email again?
www.udel.edu/social media.
I'm tweeting it out right now.
Yeah.
Other questions? Yes.
The social media found me like 2 weeks ago. They updated my Facebook. This is for just our group. My Facebook is Penny Virtue. You can look me up, see a photo. It's kind of professional, but now it has a list of University of Delaware, Wilmington University, all the attorneys on my address book. I was just amazed at everything that went down inside, and I didn't even authorize it. It was just like bingo. So I only check Facebook when I have updated every 10 days. It's just, you know. So I just wanted to share that the internet found me, and now you guys here, you know how to save my Facebook. I just don't want to publish them.
I actually, can maybe you can ask a question. All this stuff is becoming more interconnected. So that as can you just talk a little bit about how much more that kind of stuff will happen?
Okay, we need to accept this as a society. All right, first of all, yeah, this whole thing about I'm private, I have a private life, whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, nice. Then literally stay off. Just I mean, and it's legitimate. I mean, there are people who are like, I value my privacy above everything else. I respect that, but you can't engage. For one thing, you don't own anything on Facebook. You don't own your page. You don't own anything. As soon as we are not Facebook's customers, we are Facebook's product. Okay, I mean, and you have to be okay with that. It's interesting when what was it, Apple recently when they found out that they were tracking everybody, and there wasn't as big of an outcry as I think most people would have expected, because a lot of us have come to accept it's like, yeah, you want to know where I am? You can find out where I am. If you're in China, go on my Weibo account. You can see, I've already posted pictures of you guys on Weibo, by the way. If you guys are in China, I'm just letting you know. So I was at the White House last year, just a tourist, not anything. They didn't call me in for anything, but, and they let you know ahead of time. It's like, if you bring out your phone, your device, your camera, whatever, it will be confiscated, whatever. It's the only time that I did not take pictures or anything. The weird thing is, they then say, when you post your pictures, use this hashtag. Okay, but there's a sign in there that says, basically, by being here, you have given permission for your photo to be taken, to be used any way we want, video, blah, 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 blah. I want to get a t-shirt that made, it's like, if you can read this, you're, whatever. I mean, that's just, again, that's where we're going as a society, and if you choose to not engage with these tools, then that's the only thing that's going to protect it. Otherwise, just get used to it. And I'll tell you this, there's weird stalker issues, there's whatever. A true story, my wife hates social media, doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And she's like, yeah, just don't ever mention my name. And I'm like, okay, fine, I won't mention anything. Until the night, a couple of years ago, when a woman came up to her and said, so you're married to him? She's like, yeah. It's like, well, I followed all of his stuff on social media. He never mentioned anybody. I was going to ask him out. And so then it became, so that's why now my wife's like, we're going to fix this. I'm like, yes, we are. So that's why now you know that I'm always out with the lovely bride. She still doesn't want her name out there. She's the lovely bride. And now she gets people, we'll be out somewhere and someone she doesn't know comes up and goes, you're the lovely bride. It's like, so.
I opened up a business page about 6 months ago, and separate from my personal page on Facebook. And I noticed that, I guess recently Facebook changed their algorithms or something in the newsfeed.
In 20 minutes, they're changing again.
Okay. And when I said the increase, I used to get, much more views on my page than I'm getting now. And then, of course, I took the bait, paid the $20 to have my one post boosted. And it boosted to like a 10,000% increase. So how do you get around that? And my other question is, like, if I want to invite a friend to like my business page, I have to first invite them to be my friend on my personal page, and then I have to go to my business page and let them drop down. Is there any way around this? How do we get more people?
Okay, so
Mainly the algorithm.
Sure. So Facebook is always changing, and it's a good thing. And it's crazy because everyone's angry right now. Oh, my reach is so low, my organic reach. Facebook's free. It's free. You can't get mad. It's a wonderful advertising vehicle. Don't throw $20 at a promoted post. Do 5 and target it. It has the options of targeting.
Yeah.
All of my clients have $50 to $100 a month budget for advertising. So we want to grow the page, and there's lots of different ways you can do it. And I love how targeted you can get with different things. So you can use the ads manager. Have you ever used the ads manager to create an ad? And these page admins, have you ever done that before? It walks you through it. It's a very simple process. You pick 6 pictures, you have like 50 words or less, you can just describe your business, and then you can say, who do I want? Who is my target? So you know, we want to target 25 to 35-year-old women that live in Middletown for a hair salon that I manage their page. We got 60 new likes in 2
Well, see, that's the
weeks.
thing, my page went out to almost 5,000 people and I got 2 likes.
But you didn't target it.
I did target it.
You did target it.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, do it again. It's not one and done. You have to be consistent. You have to post consistently. You know, I see pages that post one, like, you know, April 15th, and then nothing again until June. What is that? You have to be posting at least 4 or 5 times a week, and it has to be that balance. You know, in Meredith's class, I learned very early on what a content calendar is. It doesn't have to be fancy. You know, put it on your phone, but you know, plan out your month. Plan out what you're doing. You know, craft your messages to hit your target audience. Engage. Ask questions. Do nice quotes. I mean, all of that's going to help your page grow, and it's going to help your organic reach go higher and higher and higher. And yes, Facebook did change. It's harder now. It's still free, and for $50 a month, you can still grow your page and brand awareness. You know, ROI, you know, return on investment. Everyone's like, how do you measure that? How do you do that? Well, what are your goals? Are you selling a product, or you just want people to walk into your business? You just want people to know your brand, so the next time they need a financial planner, or the next time they need, you know, fire sprinklers, that they're going to know what company to call. So that's the part that I love about it.
But so earlier you were asking about everybody's involvement in Facebook, Twitter, and everything. I got one. How many has a blog? A blog. Okay, blog. I mean, seriously, I want this drilled into you. Create a blog. Why? Because A, you own it and you control it, not Facebook or whatever. You use the other tools to point people towards your blog. You're building your credibility. You are creating something. I still have people discovering me from something I posted 6 years ago I forgot about, but that's, you know, it's still popping up on Google and everything. I told this to a group a few months back, and this one guy says, yeah, my daughter blogs. I'm like, oh, what's she blog about? Sewing and stuff. She's into crafts. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, and some national magazine picked her up. And this national magazine is now hosting her blog on it's a crafting magazine. I'm like, well, that's cool. How old's your daughter? 11. All right. So this is where I'm saying, you know, don't tell me you're too old, too young, too whatever. You know, whatever. Just do it. You know, so create that blog, then use all the other tools. And yes, Facebook's they're gonna change every other day, and just deal with it.
If I can say one thing about the Facebook algorithm. So I was having a conversation this past week with somebody who works for a bank here in Delaware, someone who works for a major media company, and then talking about what I do at the university. We were comparing our numbers on Facebook of what our reach was like. The person who worked at this bank had more followers than the rest of us, the lowest organic reach. Lowest. And that's because of the algorithm of Facebook. They don't always give brands the same that they would give for a news organization, or the same that they would give for an institution of higher education. So it's going to vary from business to business, which makes it even more important that you figure out, okay, how do I target this? We don't do any paid ads at the university, none. And the reason being is that we have a very loyal alumni base, and they share all of our content. So it's not uncommon for our organic reach to be 43,000 for a single post. It's not uncommon, but we do have others where it's like 3,000 people that we end up reaching, and we have 47,000 followers on Facebook. So it just kind of varies, but you really have to get into those niches, and as Stefanie was saying, try it month to month. Just doing an ad once or twice, it won't do the trick. You've got to figure out how to break into the algorithm, and it's hard. It's going to be different for everybody's page. Yeah.
Remember, could you talk for a second about Google Plus, which I was very happy to ignore for about 2 years. Suddenly we can't anymore.
Well, so Google Plus, how many people use Google Plus? Okay, so Google Plus, let me just say this. How many people use Google to search? Okay, if you use Google to search, what Google Plus is, I can't relate it to Facebook or Twitter, it's kind of its own beast. But the thing with Google Plus is that Google will index your posts on Google Plus. So it's different. If you go into Bing as a search engine, you will see Facebook and Twitter for your company pop up on the side when you type the name in. When you go to Google to search, it will pull in your posts for that. So Google Plus kind of varies. Google Plus just had 1,200 employees that they shifted this past week, and their head of the organization abruptly left. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with the future of Google Plus, but I will say that it is worth having your business on there, just from a search standpoint, if nothing else. And there's so many social platforms, it can be really tough to figure out what do I put where. Google Plus is a great place to say, this is my business, these are my hours. Anything that you think people would search to get to you, that's what you want to be putting on Google Plus. Even if it's just, here's my profile, and maybe you put a post or two, because we index them.
I just want to keep it as a conversation. This is not a question, it's just more of a statement in that I deal with a lot of newbies to social media. And you know, the first one's through the wall get bloody. And I think Ken and I show it more than Meredith, but we all just went out there 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. At this juncture, these folks make it look easy. It ain't easy, folks. It isn't. How many people here go to a gym? Anybody go to a gym? Why are you going to the gym? Fitness, to keep going forward. Is it easy? No. Social media is the gym of your marketing. You have to get out there, exercise every day, best practices. You take a day off, you fell 2 days behind. So you can get good at it. You get into a rhythm, you get used to getting up at 5 in the morning, you get used to the cycle. It no longer is work, it's just something you do and almost enjoy. That is where they are.
Yeah, but with the gym, you'll see results after a while.
But you don't do the same machine every day.
You absolutely will see results with social media. I mean, my clients have huge success. People recognize their brand now. They're getting more clients. The phone is ringing because of social. And what you were talking about earlier, what I wanted to add was, not every post is going to reach 43,000. Don't expect every post to. If you can get in front of your audience once a week, let's say you're posting 4 or 5 times a week, if one of those a week stays consistently in their news feed, you know, they're going to have you in the back of their mind.
And you never know what they're going to respond to.
Right.
I mean, this is the thing. This is why I throw out so many random things, because I never. So I pride myself on trying to put out stuff that's worthwhile and community building and blah blah blah. And the thing that blew out everything was when I posted the picture that my wife made a heart-shaped meatloaf for Valentine's Day. All right, I don't know. It's random. You throw it out there and things happen.
You never know unless it's a picture of a dog, and then it will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the back.
My question was going to be, it's not, but was going to be to ask Ken, how does he really feel about people that haven't adopted social media? But my question is, we're lawyers, okay? So we're stubborn, we're conservative, we're skeptical by nature. We do use social media, okay? We have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have all that stuff, Twitter. But we got to find a balance, because people don't want to be getting email blasts from their attorneys all the time.
Right.
Or social updates from their attorneys all the time. Now, the balance is, there's a firm in town with a tremendous social media presence. Everybody views them as, you know, predatory, obnoxious. What are they doing? They view us as, they have a social media page, but they don't really go crazy. How do you strike that balance in my kind of industry?
Okay, first of all, you're talking about regulated industries are some of the most the interesting areas to get into, whether we're talking about banking or pharmaceuticals or the legal profession, because you do have very strict guidelines, you know, and financial services. Oh my gosh,
Compliance.
Yeah, and so, you know, obviously you have to work within those parameters, but oh my gosh, there's opportunities galore. I mean, if you know, all you have to do is jump off of, you know, something that's making major news in the legal field, and be able to say, you know, hey, if you want a little extra insight on this, you know, do the blog post that does, you know, your analysis on the ruling or whatever. You know, if you want a little more insight, a little more understanding, this is the thing. People want to know, you know, the why behind the what a lot of times. You know, and so, you know, any one of us here could become an expert, you know, at least engage in a real conversation with someone if you give us, you know, a couple of hours to do a little research. And the people that we're going to turn to are the people that have stuff posted that says, you know, we are the experts, here it is, in easy to understand language, you know, and I tell people all the time, don't push your product, push what people can do with it, or, you know, the whole gamut of stuff. And yeah, you run the risk of being obnoxious if all you're doing is just, you know, buying up ad space and posting every 5 minutes or whatever. Find your audience, find, you know, who it is that will respect what you're doing. Offer them good, valuable content. Again, just stuff that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere else off of Wikipedia or whatever. And then, be there, say, hey, we're open for questions.
And diversify. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that some people who say they do social media really well, they do maybe one platform really well, and that's the oversaturation that we all feel. And it's one of those pieces that you have to think about of what is my audience's expectation? Who is my target audience? Is it 25 to 35-year-olds? Because there's much more of an appetite for social media probably than the 45 to 55-year-olds. And you have to know that. You have to know which platform it's going to work for. Everything that you put on Facebook doesn't belong on Twitter, doesn't belong on Pinterest, doesn't belong on Instagram. Some things might have crossover, but that's how, that's what I think that we all see. We're like, oh, I see the same thing when I go to their Facebook page, their Twitter page. And then it loses the effectiveness. But you can take the same story, you can take the same blog post, and you can really share that on different platforms in different ways. So if I know something's going on at the university, I may take one story, share it more towards students on Twitter, more towards parents on Facebook, more towards prospective students on Instagram, international students on our international platforms. So it varies. I can use the same content piece, but I have to diversify how it's presented.
I'm a customer of Blue Rock Financial Group. They do a really, really good job of posting relatable items to the financial world. They're not giving me specific advice on your social page, but they might say, hey, I was at this event. This is something that you might want to consider. Or this is a picture of the Cristiano River. It looks beautiful. It just, you're keeping me engaged. So, and I'm a customer of theirs, and I've never one time thought about it. No, it's really insightful. Second, social media. I have three ventures. One of which is a t-shirt and apparel company. I posted something on Twitter. I sold product to England and Singapore. I have no storefront over there at all, okay? And I was absolutely shocked because those customers, I then sent them some extra free stuff. I said, hey, could you do me a favor? Take a picture of my decal somewhere and send it back to me. They did. I posted it. And it's great. So that was Twitter. Third, and I'll keep quiet. The other venture I'm working on is I'm going through the intellectual property and capital raise right now. A company I sit down with, multi-million-dollar company, told me the way we buy product is changing. He has a product that's on HomeDepot.com, and the Home Depot store brand is now in a kind of like a war with HomeDepot.com because HomeDepot.com wants to protect their asset. They have such a good presence through the internet buying, the social media of this product line, that he's telling me it's dynamic, and he's helping to guide me when we do our product launch, okay? To use the social media, the Amazon.com, the HomeDepot.com, your own internet. We actually are naming the company a .com, so I think with .com, with our product line itself that are talking about what the product's on itself. So we're doing a product line, you're probably going to be involved in stuff, but we're doing a whole product launch around that based on this social media taking over the way we buy. So I hope that helped everybody.
Well, and can I say one thing, that a lot of what you guys are saying, you are saying, and you need to think about the difference of that versus me. On like the planet of me, what I think is not necessarily what my target audience thinks. It's not necessarily what people want to hear. So as you're thinking about what should I post with my strategy, you think about the end user. What do they want? I might not agree with it, but that's what they want. And I think that's what Stefanie does so well with a lot of her clients is there's a lot of different voices that are going on there, and it's catered to exactly the end user. You don't get Stefanie's personality from that.
It's the biggest compliment is when people say, to my clients, oh, your page is so great, how do you do that? And they're like, it's not us. We hired someone to do it. And then it's like, score. I don't want people to know it's me. I don't want people to know that, Wayman Fire Protection is not Wayman Fire Protection or Blue Rock. It's their company, it's their voice.
One tip for the quickest way to monitor what people are saying about you, the social media or any of the review sites, other than going to all those every day. Best way is to just do some reputation management. I have
Google Alerts, Twilert, a lot of these, and every day there's new platforms coming up to sort of, troll for you to see what's going on and everything. I've got Google Alerts for a bunch of stuff, and just So and my other job, I worked for a company with the worst name ever. And so those Google alerts get real interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But there's free tools that you can use. Google Alerts, there's a lot of social media management platforms that we could talk about. I'm sure we can all give you recommendations, after that. If you want to pay, you can pay for an incredible social media management suite. And when you get to the point of being large enough, like where you be, that's the option you're going to want to go with. Most major companies have something they do because you need to get those real-time updates of when is someone saying something about me, because it's a matter of minutes and seconds sometimes that make the difference.
Just real quick, how much time should a business be spending on doing their social media marketing per day?
Can I do that for a second?
No, let me answer it first.
Okay.
I spend 5 to 6 hours per client per week.
But that's your job.
Right.
That's your whole, but that's.
It should be somebody's job.
It should be someone's job.
But that's your company, that's all you do, right?
Right, so she's saying
But per
5
client.
hours a week.
So I have 12 clients, so times it by 5. Like, what I'm saying is, you should take the time to plan your content calendar to auto post everything, have it all automatically scheduled, and then all I have to do is just manage it throughout the week. Because you're busy doing your job. You're busy running your business. So you have to have someone responsible for managing your social. But now I can
Okay, again, this is what we're seeing in society in general. So I'm hearing from a lot of authors lately. I mean, the thing is, it used to be their job was to write the book, and it was the publisher that took care of like getting the audience and all this stuff and everything. And more publishers are like, oh no, you need to build your audience. You need to have a blog. You need to do the social stuff. You need to do, and so take that from the world of publishing to the world of everything else. Again, if the game is get out there and be known and interact with the general public, this is the best tool going. And you gotta have, and so here's the real bad cop thing. Social media tools, this is the fire that Prometheus stole from the gods and brought to humanity. I cannot overemphasize how powerful these tools can be. And if you're thinking, great, it's free, and I can do it on 10 minutes a day, you're kind of fooling yourself. You need to invest the time to use those tools well. I have a beautiful tool set sitting in my garage that I never use. I could be using it to create benches and picture frames and whatever else. I don't. They're great tools, but they're just sitting there. This stuff is going to be as useful to you as you put, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And I love the Singapore, and where else was it that, I love these language things. You gave a perfect example there of how this stuff, it's the serendipity thing. It's you're putting it out there, it can be picked up anywhere. I have a friend that I convinced to get on Twitter, and 2 days later, he was picked up by a major news agency in Australia, and he's now doing writing for them from Delaware. So,
now, in fairness, you can go down a rabbit hole. So you could spend your entire life doing it. So for a mid-sized business, let's say you're not Coca-Cola, 5 to 6 hours an hour a week.
Well, so here's the thing. It really depends. It depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to do customer care better than everybody else, you need someone who's doing that probably around the clock. At UD, I have 2 staff members, and their job is to manage and monitor all day, all of our social platforms. Some of that is spent doing content gathering. Some of it is spent putting videos together. It varies, but when I started at UD, it was all these responsibilities to do media relations in one little sentence that said, also manages Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And it grew because we realized that we needed to make an investment. We kind of need to lay the groundwork of what should we be doing, how should we be doing this, and it grew from, okay, let's take an hour a day to 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Hey, I need to hire somebody else because now I can't do this other job. And it grew. So it's not that you need to bring somebody in right away and say, I need to dedicate a person to this. Maybe start with a consultant that can help you figure out, how does your consultant need to do content management, and maybe you can get into some of the monitoring and looking at what's happening. Because it definitely grows, and it varies from person to person. There are hotels, 25 plus people that manage their social media account, one account. it varies on what your goals are. If you want a return on investment to be financially driven, then you're gonna have to have strategies to drive social content to do that.
We put ad listing on Twitter right now, we're hot, I bet the imageries from good. Ronnie, I'm sorry, good question. No, Ronnie, right, good question.
I think my experience can help you. I had to hire somebody. I have a small business, I have 6 employees. I now have an advertising agency, and I had to hire somebody to do all that. And the knowledge that she had, and she created a blog for me, and like it automatically went to Google+. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to do that now. And she does Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest, but she's 40 hours a week. She's grotesquely underpaid. I know that. I got her from U of D, she just graduated. I have an employer portal. She's been there 2 days, and I'm like, I gotta give this girl a raise. But I had to hire somebody because I could not do it. And she physically has to be there because things are constantly changing. It's a fashion boutique. I was painting the wall the other day. I got an impulse. I'm like, here, take a picture of me doing this. And I got like 30 likes. Katie and I go to Eagles games, and we did this thing where we started, dressing alike to make the Eagles win. We would get a gazillion likes, but it's you have to have somebody to do it. And then, she would help me come with creative, but you have to hire somebody to do it. It's hard. I can't do it. I can't run my business and do that.
So, I have 2 more questions.
Yeah, I just want to make 2 points. One from Ken's rant earlier.
Which one? Rant 1?
Rant 1. The courage thing. I think the understanding is why it's, the biggest thing since printing press is there is an inherent lack of control in your message. And I think, most companies, most individuals, most communicators have been raised on, trying to control and manage a message. Which then leads me to my second point, and this is your point about it's a tool. Each of these platforms is a tool that you need to have strategy about. I think a big misnomer is when you hear thinking that communications is all social media. It's part of communications. And understanding what your goal is, what your audience is, what you're trying to position yourself in your particular space for, those sort of strategic business decisions, that's first. Then the platform and the tools and the execution come from that. So having that combination for whatever size business, I think, is a very important part of it as, when it comes to public relations, media relations, communications. You can't jump to the tools without having the understanding of what your business is about, what's the message is, and what you're trying to communicate. So that's a real, I think, an important part of the conversation when it comes to social media.
Yeah, each semester with my class that I teach, we take on a client, a nonprofit client, that we do their social media strategy. And Spiro's hitting the nail on the head. We only do business, it's the sense of doing a social media strategy for clients who have their business plan together. You have to know if I go in and I say, what are your goals? You need to be able to tell me what your goals are, because otherwise, how can social media get you there? You have to know where you're trying to get to. Social media is one of the paths you can take with the whole marketing, communications, umbrella, sales, but there's so much you have to do from the business side that social media is not going to just fix something. It's a great tool.
I love the other point though, because I hear this all the time. We don't want to get into social media because we can't control the message. It's like, you never had control. And in a lot of ways, it's the I can't see you, you can't see me kind of mentality of like, really? It's like, I can go and trash your brand all I want now, And
but that's the point where you start talking about the frustrations and how do you get it, if you're starting to talk about larger companies, why the uptake has been slower, whether it is a regulated industry, I mean, that's, those are unique, but even in a mid-size or something else, when you're making that jump.
And they don't realize that, their competitors out there doing, a lot of times I'll pull up their competitor stuff and say, look at the engagement they're doing, and in 5 years, they're going to be thriving, you're going to be.
But that goes back to strategy.
Yes.
One more question.
My question's about the new wearable technologies, Google Glass, things like that. I try not to be a glass hole, I'm not wearing. But do you think that Google Plus, particularly for Google Glass, or do you see other new wearable technologies are going to impact the social platforms and spaces?
Yes. Okay, again, we're cyborgs. I mean, the fact that I get to lay this, on my counter at night doesn't mean, this is attached to me all the time. This is who we are and who we're becoming. What I can't wait for is the, and their work, they've got the, have you guys seen the new contact lenses? that monitors your blood sugar and everything for you. Yeah, and I'm waiting for that with the little pop-up screen in the contact lens, along with the facial recognition software, because I'm terrible at remembering names and faces at different places. So I'll be able to go, hey, Matt, and it'll bring up, last conversation was blah, blah, blah. And we'll be able to have that, it'll enhance that thing. But no, we're heading, and it's beautiful the way this technology is being used for exercise, for, sleep monitoring, and for everything else. And I think we're going to be better people. Yeah, we're there. We're cyborgs. Yeah.
Absolutely. It integrates with so many aspects of our life. So if you're not, connected to this in some way, you're probably not part of the conversation. How do you want to contribute?
Is it possible? Can I get one?
I think it's time to stop. I didn't hear your question.
This session was by far the session that got the most buzz. And there's a lot of people that want to know more about social media. But my question is, what is it worth? You've got the MasterCard commercial that says it's priceless. You've got companies that hire individual people to do their social media and be their voice. You've got institutions that hire people specifically and departments to monitor all their social media. So my question for the panel is, what's it worth? There's other institutions out there that will charge you $25 a month to do your social media, but you all know what you get when you pay $25 a month. So what's it worth? What's the value of it?
It is the fire that Prometheus lit from the God and brought to humanity. What part of that don't you know?
It's your brand. I mean, it's who you are. It's how you're perceived by your consumer. I mean, it's what's going to make your business grow or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Social media people will say things about you. The difference was before people have a conversation about your brand. They would, this whole word of mouth, okay, I can share things. Well, now there's a chance for you to be part of that. It's brand management, reputation, management for you. That there's really, I would say that there's, almost not a price tag you can put on it, because if you don't, it's like a garden, where you have a garden, you have to plant the flowers, and you've got to water it. Like, if you're not willing to invest in it, knowing that you might need different things at different times, how is it going to grow and how is it going to succeed? You have to make an investment, whether it's an individual, or it's, boosting posts, or it's, going to an agency that's going to do it for you. You have to be part of it.
And it's credibility too. I mean,
right.
if you go online and look for someone's website and it's not there, it was 5 years ago. If you go online now and they don't have a Twitter handle, they don't have a Facebook page, people trust what their friends do. So people will ask on Facebook, I need a good hair salon in Middletown. Well, you've got people that can tag Ecocentric Hair Salon because they have a Facebook page and it's active, and that's how your business will.
MIT did a study a couple of years ago that was fascinating. They were trying to figure out what influenced people. So the idea was, you're planning on going to restaurant A for lunch, and they inundated people with ads, billboards, everything for restaurant B. No effect, none, zero, zip. What influenced people was, hey Matt, let's go over here for lunch today. Boom, that's the influencer. So with social media, you are empowering people to be able to tell their friends, oh, hey, check this out. If I go to a restaurant, and when this happened in Dubai, I'm posting about this great French restaurant my wife and I found, they respond to me. I now have a connection with that restaurant. Next time we're in Dubai, that's where we're going.
But it's that sharing mechanism. Yeah. That's the point that I think that everybody needs to take away. You can post things, you need to monitor, you need to engage, but you need to make shareable content that other people will take and do things with. That's what Stefanie saying. Hair salon, Middletown, share it. Something that people will say, I like that. It's not always about them.
I have to cut this off. Hold on a second. Everyone's invited to stay to the next session. There's now banana smoothie. Okay then. As we thank our panelists, I just want to give them one chance to promote something or tell us where you can find you online. So, Ken Burnett.
Okay, two things. First of all, Don pointed out that great line, social media is free like a puppy is free. So that's just something to take away. The other thing I can offer you this one guarantee. Everybody's looking for the magic formula and everything. Here's a formula. You write this down, okay? If you do nothing, nothing will happen. Okay, that's the guarantee that I can leave you with. Other than that, oh gosh, engage, have fun, explore. This is a great medium, and just get to know your community that much better.
All right, Stefanie Roselle.
You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is The Social Butterfly. That's where I'm the most active. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. It's just my name, Stefanie Roselle with an F. I'm happy to do free consultations for your business. I'm happy to come out to wherever your business is, tell you what I think you should do. Look at your sites, and just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try it. It's not every post is going to be perfect. That's what the edit button's for. But and it's always evolving. So don't get stuck. Don't say, okay, I did this, yay! And then if you keep doing that same thing 6 months from now, nothing's ever going to change. So don't be afraid to evolve. Don't be afraid to learn. There's so much information on YouTube on how to do something. I mean, there's so many articles. There's so much out there. So just hone in on what your goal is and work towards that.
Meredith Chapman.
So Beth, I love to have conversations on Twitter, so you can find me at Media Meredith. And if you have any questions following up from this, tweet me anytime. I would love to engage with others. But if you guys are really serious about needing to do something more for social media, you kind of need someone to walk you through, consider the University of Delaware's social media certificate program. We have, Stefanie was in there, one of the audience members was in there, and it really kind of caters to different skill levels, I would say, so that if you're trying to figure out how do I do this for my business, we get a lot of small business owners that come in that, go through the measures of, I don't know how to work these platforms, I don't know how to put a strategy together. We do that, and you might get to the end of it and try it and say, you know what, I need to hire an expert to do this for me. But by all means, consider that, educate yourselves, and I think any of us are here as resources for you anytime.
Hashtag #EconDE.
I'm Matt Sullivan. My blog is Good Taste on Visit Wilmington DE and Delaware Shakespeare Festival, July 11th to 27th.
Please, one last, buyer beware. We get you all juiced at these things and you run out, and the first person that sounds like these individuals up here that knows more than you, knows how to sell snake oil, go to their pages. If they have 25 likes and you have 50, what do you need them for?
Yeah.
They are obviously going to be gone $3,000 later, and then you're going to come to one of these people with no budget, and they're going to want to help you, but they can't. You're going to probably take one big swing at this. Vet the person. Ask the community. We're a small community. Make sure they're doing what they're doing. How many people have bought a website from a guy in a basement, can't get access to it back in the 90s or the early 2000s? Same thing. There's a lot of people that know more than you. Be careful.
Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to stay in the next session.